Soon to be retired president of the Detroit Lions, Rod Wood, is spilling all types of tea on his way into retirement. We saw an insert, a clip yesterday that the Detroit Lions were never in the market for a pass rusher because they have to, like an elite pass rusher, a Max Crosby, a Myles Garrett, that those things are just pipe dreams of Detroit Lions fans trying to make this team better. It was never going to happen because they are going to continue to do what they've been doing, paying their own players. Well, some more information from the interview that he had with Detroit Lions Free Press writer Dave Burkett. And this dude is spilling all the tea, bro. You would think that somebody, Martha probably should have pulled on him up on the scooter, her and Sheila, and been like, shut up, because you are just spilling all types of secrets, man, things that probably are not a good look for the organization. But we've been through this before. And what are the Lions doing? You see it from the banner below that they are doing it again. What exactly is the it that they're doing? Where everybody has seen this, but this is actually going to blow your mind. And now I understand. I think that the Lions have not won a Super Bowl because they are reaping what they've sown, which is this franchise continues to just shoot itself in the foot, metaphorically. Check this out. This came out many hours ago from Ari Miroff. Says the Lions made Frank Ragnow pay part of his signing bonus after retiring early, continuing a franchise policy that dates back to Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. Not that far ago, Calvin Johnson retired like just over 10 years ago. Barry Sanders retired 15 years before that, or a little over 15 years before that. This is not something that we should be walking around and carrying like a sense of pride, like dating back, continuing the franchise policy. This is a policy that we need to change. Per President Rod Wood, our precedent goes all the way back to Barry Sanders. And I think the reality is they're not paying back their money. They're returning our money because they were paid in advance for services that they hadn't completed. Now, let me be very clear about something. When this happened with Calvin Johnson and it came out with Calvin, I was pro team. As a working class person myself and somebody who works hard for the money, right? I'm like, you didn't earn it, pay it back. That's how I was. So I was all pro Lions. It was simple to me. When you work, you get paid. If you don't get paid, if you were to not go to work today and you were out of PTO, sick time, you're not going to get a dime. Your company is most likely not going to cut you a missed work. They don't have a missed work fund. So I was all pro Lions, right? And then I found out, I watched a video from a creator by the name of Flimlo Raps. And he makes NFL content. He did it for a while. He's kind of changed his content over the past couple of years. But he had and you can go check it out. As a matter of fact, I will link it to this video. Flimlo Raps did a video on Calvin Johnson and what he had to go through to play. What Calvin had to go through to play. And when I found that out, I said, oh. And I didn't even realize at the time that they had done this to Barry. Now, with Frank Ragnow, I believe the bonus was $3 million. With Calvin Johnson, it was like 1.3. And Calvin has been his biggest riff with the organization. And it took years to repair that riff. And the Lions, by the way, still have not given that money back. It actually goes like against the salary cap and all that stuff. It's a very complicated thing, but something that you can do. You can do it. They did it so if you come to the Detroit Lions and you are you're great. Not only we're going to punish you by taking some of the signing bonus back. Now, there was a movie Friday, and in that movie there was a character. His name was Big Worm, Big Perm, Big Worm, one of the two. And he tells Smokey, Chris Tucker's character, it's the principalities of the whole thing. You are a $1 billion organization. Now, I understand rich people stay rich by making smart decisions. But these dudes are putting their bodies, their livelihood on the line. Something that a lot of us couldn't even do. And even if we could, would you want to? And they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to need that money back from you. We don't care what you've been through, what you're battling all these injuries, a toe you can't get operated on, back injuries, fractured necks, whatever the situation, vertebrae, all over the place, and we're going to ask for that money back. Now, I wanted to read something that I think a lot of people are chiming in on this. Alex Anzalone has had something to say. Quandre Diggs, former Detroit Lion, was like, yo, it might be time for the Lions to change their policies. Now, were the Lions right in doing this? Technically, yes, they were. They were right in doing this from a on-the-book standpoint. But it's about the principle, right? The principalities of this whole thing. And I'm not saying that, okay, depending on what you sacrifice for the team, you should be able to, give that person the money back and then not give this other person. Or maybe you could. Maybe you could take it case by case. And we're not just talking about random players like a Tyrell Williams. We're talking about Frank Ragnow, who we knew played through. This dude tried to come back last year to help this raggedy team. And they told him, dog, you ain't healthy enough. Your hamstring is off the bone, bruh. Like, no, take care of yourself. That's how much he was willing to sacrifice. Now, I don't know when exactly they asked for this money back, but this is a disgrace. It really is, man. You don't hear about organizations doing this, but lo and behold, ours. How fitting it is that we've never been to a Super Bowl. Now, listen, you can look at it. If you feel like, well, Frank didn't earn that money, I completely understand. That was me with Calvin Johnson. But tell me, go watch this. After you watch this video, click on Flimlo Raps. If I can link it, it will be linked right here. Watch this video. Come back and tell me that you don't feel different. It ain't your money. It's not your money. It's funny to me. We can charge the concessions. They can charge $16 for a Vizzy. They can raise the ticket prices, but they can't give a warrior like Frank Ragnow, all the greats, Calvin Johnson, a warrior, Barry Sanders, a warrior. You can't do anything. You can't. All right. I thought that this was probably the best take that I've seen. A former center retired on a Super Bowl champion team weighs in on his thoughts on this. Again, you don't hear organizations doing this. There's not many of them that do this. This is detestable to me. It really is, bro. You would not believe, just like I was the president of the SOL club, I remember in 2018, 19, whenever it came out, that we had shows debating on who was in the right here. And I sided with the team. From a blue collar, hardworking, born and raised in Detroit, you working for everything you have. No, you know what? He didn't. No, nope. Lions give him the money back. And then I watched the video and decided at that point, I will always pick the player over the team. Jason Kelce weighs in, and it's quite lengthy, but it's very, very deep. Check this out. Coming from his Twitter account. Says, this is interesting. It feels like it's obvious that Frank retired because he was physically fighting through injuries and pain. And he got to a point that he no longer could play in the game. He can no longer play the game in an enjoyable, effective, or healthy way. The whole purpose of a signing bonus is to be a guarantee up front that ensures a salary irregardless of performance metrics, or most importantly, injuries that could compromise your career in the future. What makes this interesting, and I think I like this take on it. I like the fact that he weighed in being the center himself. What makes this interesting is that Frank likely retired voluntarily, meaning he wasn't declared medically unfit to play by a doctor, which allows the team to ask for a prorated amount of his signing bonus back. Had he been medically deemed unfit to play football by a doctor before he retired, the team wouldn't be able to recoup part of the signing bonus. So you follow me? You follow what this dude is saying? If he would have gone through and medically and deemed medically unfit, he could have kept that. He could have kept part of it. But he didn't even do that. He could have gone through those channels. He didn't. If he would have gone through those channels, he would have been allowed to keep part of that money. But no, Frank being Frank takes one for the team, but the team couldn't take one for him. He voluntarily retired instead of going through the process, which would have, it really is a disgrace. It really is, man. Let me say this first. If a player truly just retires without reason or because they've lost the desire to play, I completely get and acknowledge teams should be able to recoup compensation when players don't fulfill their contractual obligations and agreements. That's how I felt with Calvin Johnson. However, Frank was known for being hurt and playing through injuries most players wouldn't play through constantly. Broken foot, a torn pec, multiple knee injuries, back issues. There was always something. Preach. And I'm sure he was continuously dealing with multiple ailments to try and continue to play the game. His body clearly had deteriorated to a degree that made football no longer a viable option physically and probably mentally. In my opinion, the signing bonus is supposed to protect players from future physical ailments, limiting their ability on the field. That's one of the reasons you want more guaranteed money up front. So, while I get that the team has a right to ask for the money back, in the spirit of the agreement, this word right here, Frank is being asked to return money. It is clearly a player. This was clearly a player that the game had physically taken its toll on, and his body was clearly no longer holding up to the rigors of the NFL. It wasn't just some player deciding he didn't want to play anymore. It wasn't that simple. And these signing bonuses are to protect players from the inevitable injuries that incur on the field. This is an absolute disgrace to me. It really is. It really is a disgrace. Let me tell you something. I was at the Tampa Bay Lions game, playoff game, where we're trying to punch our ticket. We know at this point that if we win this game, we're going to San Francisco. They had won the night before. Frank goes down. The dude is crying. He's crying. He's in so much pain. He's crying. He goes down. Whole stadium goes quiet because that's how important Frank Ragnow was to this team. He goes down. Stadium is quiet. You would have thought it was Jared Goff, St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson, who went down the next year. He's crying. He goes out, a couple plays. He comes back in, finish the game. Help us win. It's even worse knowing that he could have taken the medical route and probably been able to keep some of his signing bonus. But since he voluntarily retired, we're like, excuse me, I wonder whose job that is. Whose decision is that? Whose job is it to request the money back? Well, I'm going to tell you, like I said, I am team player all the way. All the way. And I will link this in the card. YouTube, I think, does let you link other people's videos. I want you to watch this video on Calvin Johnson. Tell me you don't feel different. If you are, because I was just like you. I was like, Frank, Calvin, he didn't work. I got to work. He didn't work. Get the money back. You didn't earn it. Then I'm, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. You did. All the times you went to war for this team. It's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy to me. $1 billion organization, $1 billion league. And we worried about 3 million. And when I say we, I mean the collective NFL. Don't forget, your ticket sales go toward helping pay their salaries. So anyway, and we can raise those prices. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't it be different? Wouldn't you, okay, probably take it a lot better if instead of just raising the ticket prices because the Detroit Lions were okay, or they had a couple good years, and instead of just instantly hiking them up, you probably would feel a little bit better. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. And you can have a difference of opinion. That's cool. But whether you raise the prices because you had a few good years, or you raise the prices in an effort to ensure players like Frank Ragnow can keep their signing bonus if they retire early, if they take a voluntary retirement. And of course, I mean, I would even say if it was because they couldn't play, that it was increasingly difficult, not a mental thing, but a physical thing. Or you know what? Even mental. Hey, mental health is real. So anyway, this organization, sometimes, man, it disgusts me. It really does. And yes, I still, even with all of this, with the lackluster moves in free agency, with how this franchise has done the past couple of years, this is not a good look. But yes, I kept my season tickets. I've never been a season ticket holder. I wanted to give it a shot at least once. This is sad. You don't hear about other organizations really doing this. And we didn't just do it to 3 bums. We did it to 3 greats. The greatest running back still probably of all time. One of the greatest receivers of all time. And specifically in the Lions organization. And probably the greatest center of our time. And maybe the franchise. And these are the players we want the money back. I mean, I don't think it's right regardless. But these aren't just bums, bro. These are Hall of Famers. These are franchise-defining players. At least Barry and Calvin got something, or Barry and Frank got something Calvin never got, a playoff win. Both of those gentlemen made it to the NFC Championship game. More than we can say about Calvin, who didn't win a single playoff game. This is just, it really is pathetic. But what's going on with Rod Wood? It's like somebody boozed him up. He like, hey, I don't care. I'm about to retire. I'm giving up all the secrets. You want the dirt? Hey, what else you want to know? You want to know? What else you want to know? He probably going to drive out of there on the Matt Patricia ATV. I mean, this is crazy, bro. This organization is falling apart, it seems like. How quickly, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you take advantage of the opportunities you have to win when you have them, because it can be gone just like that. I watched Avengers Endgame, and okay, I can't snap. I watched Avengers Endgame the other day. Spoiler alert. And Thanos was like, I am inevitable. Watched Infinity War and Endgame back to back. Haven't seen him in years. When he snapped his fingers, the sound was bright light flash. In Endgame, there was no Infinity Stones in there, and clank, clank. Just like that. There you go. Everything can fall apart, and it looks like that's happening. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You deserve a better class of creator, and I'm going to make you a promise. I will never change. Just so you know that. I will never change. I will evolve with the YouTube times because you have to. But as far as my opinion on this team and the way I deliver my content, I will never, ever change. Ever. Ever. I will walk away before I change. If I have something negative to say about this team, I'm going to say it. If I don't like something that they've done, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Every day, every creator that I see with the shenanigans, the glossing, drives me even more to remain the way that I'm. And if you don't like it, you do not have to watch. That's the beauty of choice. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. Believe it or not, I appreciate you. And as always, go Lions.